It is the Friday Night Love Stream here on Unbiased and on the Fence. Tonight we have a special recording. It's a BQH session with Jean S. And then we will be taking her call afterwards to discuss the session. I do want to remind you guys, if you would like to book a session with me, you can contact me through my website. It's www.uotf.net. The link is actually in the description box below. Or if you're thinking about taking the course yourself, save 10%, and that link's also in the description box below. But without further ado, I want to start this recording of Jean. Thank you so much for sharing this, Jean. This is awesome. When I was going back through and editing this, just so you guys know, I did edit out a lot of the gaps. It was about, 2 hours or so, and I got it down about a half hour. So it was a lot of the gaps were taken out just to make it easier to listen to. And the sound was pumped up and everything, so I did take some time to make this more enjoyable to listen to. But here we go.
I still feel like I'm floating in a space.
Mm-hmm.
I see an image of an energy with a crown with a pointy top on it.
What color is it?
It's golden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're floating with me or I just feel the impression of that.
Do you feel like a point of consciousness, or do you feel like you have a body?
No body.
Mm-hmm.
Still just energy floating.
Mm-hmm. Let's move your attention to this image you see and see if you can get more detail about it.
I see it's a person on their knees, mm-hmm. and their hands are on a staff, mm-hmm. and the staff is in the ground, but the person is on their knees, mm-hmm. holding this staff, leaning forward, as if they are either begging or pleading for something. Mm-hmm. Or it's the person seems to be wearing ancient type of clothing. I would say it's like a man with just the wrap around the hip area.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can orbit around him and get a better look at his face. Can you get any features from him?
I'm getting like dark eyes and dark eyebrows. Probably it looks similar to an Egyptian type of facial features.
Mm-hmm.
What it seems.
Let's see if you can telepathically ask him what he's doing there with his staff.
There is something on the top of the staff that is relevant.
Can you describe what it looks like?
At first I thought it was a horse, mm-hmm. but it may be Anubis. Is that the dog, the jackal?
Mm-hmm.
The black? That's what I think is mm-hmm. at the top of the staff.
I want to give you the suggestion to focus in on the top of the staff and remember it with clarity for later.
It has crystal blue eyes, mm-hmm. the staff. Beautiful crystals as blue eyes. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, like almost like magical, like there's the universe is in the eyes. Mm-hmm. I feel like I want to go in the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go in them.
Let's do that. Let's move your point of consciousness into the eyes and see where you go. Let that blue surround you, that beautiful blue color surround you as we move in. And tell me what it opens up into.
I feel like I'm swimming in water. I feel like I'm pushing off against the bottom to propel myself forward.
Mm-hmm. How does this water feel?
Lovely, beautiful, magical, healing, alive.
Well, just let that wash over you, that healing feeling, and really absorb it in. Let it saturate all of the cells of your body to bring in that magic, that healing. Are you able to reach the surface?
Yes. And I'm getting an impression of Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And it has that magical, sparkly, that sparkling light everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Very reflective, very alive.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is energized.
Yeah.
It's the crystals.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so neat. It's the crystals that's making it that way.
There's just crystals everywhere?
The crystal energy, yes.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if you can emerge from the water and look around, and what do you see in this place?
I see a structured group of structures off in the distance. And I feel as though I'm a man with a beard. And my beard is dripping from the water, coming out of the water.
Can you see what you're wearing?
Just the cloth around my hips.
Mm-hmm. Do you see anyone else around?
Not on the shore with me, but there's people in the city, I guess, or in the town.
Do you feel drawn in any particular direction as you look around?
I kind of just want to go right back into the water. I feel like I just came to visit, to look, to see.
Let's go back down into the water and see if we come back out the crystal eye or if we go somewhere else. Just imagine yourself dipping under the water now and the water rushing over your head. And you're back to that magical blue light all around you and water all around you. And let's see what it switches to now. Where do you go from here?
I feel like I'm a woman with long hair now, for some reason, in the water and swimming. And
how old do you look or feel?
I'm probably in my late teens, early 20s, young girl.
Are you able to go to the surface and look around and see if it looks like the same place or if it's changed?
The water is magical. It's sparkling. It has energy, and it's healing. It's alive.
Do you feel like you're able to breathe under the water?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And do you have a human form? Take a look at your whole body. Observe your hands and your feet.
Yes. I look more like maybe a mermaid or a merman, but I'm a mermaid now, whereas before I was the man with the beard. And then when I dove back in, I just morphed into the long hair. But I'm swimming sort of back and forth like a dolphin would. Like I'm very good at it.
Do you feel like your home is there under the water somewhere that you could visit?
Sirius just came to mind.
So
I think
do you feel like you're on Sirius there? Or on one of the planets of Sirius?
Yeah, yes, I may be. Yes.
Can you sense where your home is under the water? Like where you live under there?
See, it's like a bloom. It looks like a flower, but the flower is pointing down so that it sort of has like a point at the top with the petals coming out at the bottom. And seems like I go into something like that.
Mm. Very nice and magical. Almost like underwater fairy.
Yeah, and it has like a scoop on the bottom that I go and I lay in. So there's a scoop, like a bed or something I can lay in on the bottom, and then it opens up like petals, and then the top goes up. But it's very organic.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you have any family there around you?
I feel as though there may be people or family in the distance, but nobody that I can interact or detect.
Mm-hmm. When you go into this habitat, I guess it would be natural flowery habitat, do you see any personal belongings or anything that are yours there?
I have some shiny crystals and soft lace, like as my bed.
Mm-hmm. What do the crystals look like? What color are they?
They're shiny and reflective. There's yellow and green and blue and pink.
Are they all just different shapes?
Yes, and it's something that I absolutely adore. They are my prized possessions. I absolutely adore them, and I love them like a pet.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a closer look at these crystals. Do they provide you with different types of energy, or what do they do for you?
I find them to be friendly. I find them to have positive energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they seem conscious and alive and powerful.
They have an energy, a playful energy that I can interact with and just play with, like play back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They're my companions or my playmates, and I love them, and I keep them near me, and they love being near me too. So it's like it's an exchange.
So you can communicate with them, like with your mind?
It's on a very primitive level.
Mm-hmm. It's more like you just feel their presence and they feel your presence?
More like, yeah, like just like a feeling, like playful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's very simple. Very simple.
Mm-hmm.
They are the energy, and they love to give it, and they love to feel my energy back. They're alive. They're just one of us. Even though it's a crystal, it has needs and wants, and it can exchange with you.
Let's just sit with these crystals for a moment and really get into a meditative state there with it and see if they have anything to show you in this lifetime.
They're also there to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
There is danger, or there are threats that are in the vicinity that they help to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though if I had either a father or a brother, they may be fighting or battling or protecting.
Mm-hmm.
And these crystals are here to protect me while they're away.
Mm-hmm. So is there some type of natural predator that you have to look out for?
Yes.
So it's like the crystals, they don't like to be around the crystals, so they protect you in that sense, the energy from them?
I think they help warn me.
Mm-hmm.
They can sense if there's danger, and they help to warn me. They're very, very playful.
Mm-hmm.
They're very sweet. I love them so much.
How do they warn you? Through telepathy, or do they shine or do something to warn you?
It is more of a telepathic feeling or impression.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an energy. And the energy would be, would change, and I would know when the energy changes, because they would sense it, and then I would sense them.
What kind of energy do you feel coming off of them right now?
Very playful and loving and protecting.
So it feels like they're happy to see you at this point, and there's nothing to worry about?
Yes, there's nothing to worry about. There's no threat in the area at all.
Is there anywhere they'd like to guide you to take a look at?
There is a cave near the surface that may be where there's more of the crystals. And they said we could go there, and it's the travel is instant.
Okay.
If you think of where you'd like to go, and you're there.
Very nice.
You're just there.
Let's do that. Let's go explore this cave, and we'll be there now. What's this place like?
On the surface of the water, and the water is very blue and sparkly and has like these golden and white sparks in the water. Like it's just alive and has energy in the water. And then there's a cave opening, and the cave is dark, colored mountain or cave. And so you go into the cave, but I'm still in the water. And you go into the cave, and there's all the other crystals, all the family, all the millions and millions of helpers, and they all love to help people. They all love to help us.
Is the cave illuminated by them?
Yes. It's like it's like overkill on the joy in there.
It's beautiful. When you walk up to these crystals and you stretch your hand out to them, do they respond to your touch?
Yes, they're just so happy to see me, and they're so helpful. Oh God, this is great. Oh my God.
It's very awesome.
They're so excited, and I can feel them. And they're just, not that they're just crystals, they're alive, and they're sparkly, and that's beautiful. There's so many of them, and they all just want to help people. They all just want to help. They need the exchange. The exchange of the energy is what they need. They have something to give, and they want to give it. And they're looking for people to have that exchange with. So they have a little bit of a need, a little bit of a longing to have a playmate. And they just love when people come to visit them.
So it's like a reciprocating interaction where they give and they get.
Yes. And that brings them joy and contentment when they know they can exchange the energy. Because they just want to give so much. That's lovely.
Does it feel like it's a group consciousness with all these crystals, or does it have an individualized consciousness feel about it?
I would say it's a group consciousness. Maybe the colors are a little bit different than each other, but slightly. But it's mostly a group consciousness. It's wonderful.
They're all unified in a way.
Yes.
I wonder if they're able to work together to show you anything. Can they light up and illuminate and create holograms or pictures for you to see?
I'm zooming out. I'm zooming away from the surface. I'm floating up in the sky to see the landscape. And they're showing me the planet.
The planet that you're on right now?
Or yes, the yes. If it's not a planet, whatever it is.
What does it look like to you?
Mostly water, some land. Very sparkly, very twinkly is all I can say. Like, there's so much energy.
What colors do you see coming from it?
A lot of white and gold sparks, like beautiful, twinkling. So the entire surface, the entire land mass or water mass is all electrified.
Does it look like it's primarily just liquid, or does it look like there's land?
A little bit of both. Maybe the caves are the land part. I don't see a lot of other land.
As you continue to zoom out, can you see a star or a sun?
Yes.
Just one?
It looks to me like a blue shining, something that's blue. It's just a huge blue, where it gives off the color blue. And a bigger spark, like the sparks that are in the water. This is like one of the big giant sparks. And it's big and it's blue. And it's part of the water sparks. It's part, it makes where it affects the sparks in the water. But it is like the big kahuna. It's in the sky.
Is it like the magic is coming from this star? Does it seem like the star is affecting the water, or it's just all got the same magic in it?
I think that one could not be without the other. And I think they coexist. I'm not certain of which one is affecting the other initially.
Do you see any other planetary bodies around as you look around?
I am being pulled out into space closer to the big kahuna out there. I feel as though I'm no longer in a body, and my consciousness is pulling me out, like farther out, so that I could see Sirius from space, if it is Sirius, wherever that was. And I'm being pulled out and out and out, like my perspective keeps going out. And it's just like a mass of stars that are spinning, sort of like a pinwheel.
Do you see any other planets around, now that you're pulling away and seeing more?
I'm seeing the stars, and it's like there's a mass of stars. And then there's other masses of stars that are moving through them and around them. A lot of activity.
Do you see any beings around or craft?
I know. I'm aware of some of them.
Well, let's imagine that there's a bright golden pillar of light that surrounds your point of consciousness. Golden rainbowy light. It's so bright and comfortable and peaceful, but it's so bright it's blinding bright and you can't see beyond it. And as it begins to fade away, a picture comes into view, and tell me how your scene has changed.
I feel like I'm looking at the nose of a kitten or a cat.
Let's pull away from it a little bit and tell me what it looks like.
It's purring. It's a cat.
What does this cat look like?
It's the spotted kind with like orange and black and white.
Does it feel like it's looking at you?
I feel it may be on my chest. Purring.
Yeah. Let's greet this little kitty cat and see if it has anything to say to you.
He's just saying he's on my journey. He's part of my journey. He's here with me on my journey.
Very nice.
As a companion.
Let's ask this cat who it is. Do you know this cat?
I don't recognize this cat from this lifetime. But this cat did belong to me.
Let's ask this cat what lifetime it's from.
It's very logical, like, what do you think? Like, you know, it's not really very forthcoming, like, I'm here, I'm on your journey.
Let's see if this cat can guide us to the super consciousness or your higher self, or someone that can help us with questions on your journey. Is this cat able to do that?
Yes, he wants to. He's on a leash and he's pulling me.
Okay.
So he knows the way.
Awesome. I want to send thanks and gratitude to the cat.
He said I wouldn't be able to find my way without him.
Yeah.
Come on this way.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Who is this cat going to take us to?
Seems to be near a tree outside in the grass under the sun. Feels like earth. Feels like he wants me to lay down and meditate.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
He's getting back on my chest to purr.
Sounds like this cat misses you.
Yeah, we're going into a different dimension. He's assisting me with the purring so that I could reach that vibration.
It's very nice. Just take a few deep breaths and let the cat take us where we need to go. Just get into a meditative state. We'll let this cat take us for a little ride where we need to go. What's happening around you now?
I feel the change in the density in the vibration inside my body. I feel sensation throughout my body and sort of sparkling.
Does it feel lighter or denser to you?
Definitely feeling lighter.
Are you able to see what your body looks like here?
Feels like energy now. Very light energy.
Are you able to look down and see your hands?
They seem like they almost look like those stars, but it's not the stars. It seems like I can see the energy.
Like a light body?
Yes. Yes.
And what dimension is this cat taking us to?
The first number that comes to mind is 9.
And are we going to meet your higher self?
Yes.
It's very good. We'll go to your higher self and see what kind of information you have for yourself today.
Very bright white light, white blue light, very, very bright. It's blinding white light.
How does it make you feel?
Comfortable.
Relaxed and peaceful?
Yes.
And is your higher self able to answer questions now? To either show you or tell you what your mission on Earth in this lifetime is about?
Yes, they're dropping. There are sort of shooting stars dropping and coming in through my body and either healing or energizing. But it's off of this huge bright white light with so much energy. It's like little sparklets that are dropping off with the intention of coming into my body.
Well, let's just allow that energy to pour over you and flow through you, through every cell of your body and your being, all of your versions of your body. Just energize and heal, remove any blockages, and just really minister to you in whatever way you need, and really bask in that feeling of that loving, powerful energy pouring over you and through you, and just allow it to do whatever it needs to do. Just unblock or transform anything that needs to be transmuted to its optimal state, into your most beneficial state. And really observe how it makes you feel. The love and the protection and the healing. And allow yourself to resonate at that healing and energy. And how do you feel?
I feel good.
Mm-hmm. Do you notice the feeling in any specific area of your body?
I feel like a constant pulse throughout my entire body. My feet and my hands are probably the strongest pulsing, but it seems to be like I can feel the pulse throughout my whole body. My heart rate may be up because of the energy, and I can feel it.
That's good. Just let it flow through you and bring in any positive energy you need and purify, wash away anything that doesn't serve you anymore. Just really absorb that light, that energy.
I was keep seeing like flashes of images while the light being in the light. And I see a woman with her head in her hands. I'm not sure if she's crying or if she was crying. Her head is in her hands and she's sad.
Do you recognize this woman?
It may have been an aspect of myself.
Let's ask why you're being shown this woman.
My rivers run deep, and I need to express my emotions and allow them their course, allow the course, allow them to take their course.
Is there any particular way you should express these feelings?
I should honor them and give them the time that it needs to express.
So you've been suppressing the feelings?
Yes.
What's the best way for you to give them voice? To talk about them or do art or music or some other form?
Simply just to feel the feeling. Go through the feeling, don't avoid it. Go into the feeling.
Yeah.
That is part of the reason why I'm here in this lifetime, is to feel those deep feelings and to come out on the other side with a greater wisdom after having been through those feelings.
So in a way you're transmuting these feelings?
Yes.
But you actually need to process them to be able to do that?
Yes. And I'm doing this for family lineage as well as my soul lineage.
So would this be your primary purpose on Earth at this time, to transmute these energies?
To say the word you said, primary reason for being in this lifetime is to shine my light and to be all that I can be, and not to hide from judgment or fear of anybody's opinions. To fully be in my light.
So in a way you're helping strengthen the grid around the planet by shining your light?
Yes, I'm helping others by shining my light. They see how to shine their light. It's contagious. It's contagious. It's contagious. Like a smile. If you shine your light so bright and you open your heart and you expand the love, your heart, the love around you and around the outside of you, and it's contagious to other people who need it, who don't know where to find it. They don't know where to find it. They don't know where to find their crystals. They don't know where to find it. And by you, by me, by us, we shining our light, opening our heart, and expanding that energy, that heartfelt light energy out around us when we pass somebody on the street or just pass somebody. It energizes them and helps them to feel the love.
Mm-hmm.
They can feel the love that they may not know where to find because they have so many dampers and so many blockages and blinders on. They have blinders on. They have programs. They have so much programming they don't know their way out.
Mm-hmm.
And by us shining our heart space, our heart light, our heart love energy as far as we possibly can, concentrate and beam our light as far as we possibly can around the whole universe.
It's beautiful. That's a beautiful picture.
That's the main reason why I'm laughing, because it makes me feel good, but it's the main, that's crazy.
That's nice. I want to suggest that you remember this picture that they're giving you with pure clarity so you can recall and know what you're here for, what all this is about.
I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel the heart opening up and the bright white light, and it's like that light. It's like the magic and the gold, silver, all the sparkly colors and energy, the energy that was in that water, and it's in us. It's inside of us.
And we're broadcasting it out.
Yes, it expands and it goes out, and it's sparkly, and it constantly just flows outward.
It's contagious.
Yes.
So it's almost like it ignites the spark in everyone else.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, it keeps coming out and just keeps it forever. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
So would this be the most important thing for your higher self to show you? Is this broadcasting of this love light out to the world and the universe?
Yes. And this is my God source, my God spark. And this is how I can heal my human self. How I can love my human self. How I can heal my human self. By this light. It's amazing.
So you direct this love and this light to your human form and the healing begins?
Yeah.
And would this be a message just for you or for many in our community that are here at this time trying to help the planet?
It is definitely every single one of us has this inside. Once we find it, when we awaken, is when we find that there is this inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need to learn how to use that to help others to awaken, to open their eyes, to take the blinders off, to find their spark,
mm-hmm.
and the energy is contagious. And they won't know what it is
mm-hmm.
about you. But
they'll just feel drawn.
For it. Yeah, searching. Mm-hmm. They'll start on their own journey, their own search.
What are some of the ways we can learn to use this light better?
Never turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
It is infinite. It is
inexhaustible.
Yes. You never turn it off. Always have it on. Always have it on full power.
Mm-hmm. What's the best state of mind for us to be able to do that most effectively?
Compassion,
mm-hmm.
kindness, loving, forgiving, acceptance.
So operating in the heart virtues?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The heart will lead. Trust it. Trust your heart. It will lead you.
Is there any information about earth changes that we should be aware of?
Mm.
That that affect the whole?
Similar to how the exchange was with the crystals, that the crystals needed to give me playful energy and I would give playful energy back. This is what Gaia needs. Gaia needs us to be playful and exchange our energy. We have been cut off from her, and she is starving. She is longing and yearning and starving for the energy, because we are Gaia. We are of the earth. We are part of the earth. We are part of her, and we have gone away, and she is longing for us to come back and be part of her again. It is like a lost part of her that she doesn't know why we went so far away. She needs us back to commune with our energies. She needs our energy as much as we need her energy, and the exchange must be there to raise both of our energies. It's a playful back and forth, like a ping pong, or a little back and forth, and each time we give our energy to Gaia and she gives her energy back, it raises both of our energy, and it energizes, or for lack of a better term, it just increases our vibration and our intensity. And she is starving for this. She is starving for this, and we are starving for this. Yet we're walking around and we don't even know it's right there.
Yeah. I think a lot of us feel like we're somewhere else, so we don't make that connection with Gaia like we should. But we're here now.
It is very important to honor and to give thanks and to recognize that the part of our physical being is her physical being. We are not anything without her physical being. We will not be a physical being. And this is the beauty of being human, being part of the planet. The human is the being that is part of the planet. This is what is so special about being human, because we are the planet.
So recognizing that unity and oneness with our planet.
Yes, absolutely.
I wonder if we can ask your higher self what the names of your angelic beings are that work with you daily.
I see Anne. I see Periwinkle. It's very, My Little Pony is kind of like rainbows and unicorns. This is what the images that I'm getting, that they're giving me as a representation of themselves. It's amazing.
Very magical.
Yes. The unicorn. Yes, I think the unicorn. I don't know why it went there, but I see that. The periwinkle started it. She started it. And she said, "Look at all these." It is. It's very fairy-like. It is very, that type of energy. Pixie, fairy energy, angel energy. And they're very much representative of Gaia as well. Yes. We need to connect to Gaia. We need to honor Gaia. We need to exchange energy with Gaia for our existence and her existence, for the sake of both.
Would this relate to Jean's ability to connect with her divine spark? Is this all connected, or is that something different? She's having difficulty connecting with the divine spark.
Yes, there is a question and confusion, and she is analyzing while meditating rather than letting go and trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Just trust. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ego and the mind that you're letting go of. The messages will come from your heart.
Mm-hmm.
We come through your heart. You will know the difference because you will feel the difference in the messages.
So she doesn't need to worry about emptying her mind because the answers will come from the heart.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good. The guidance that she needs to get, is it observable or obtainable through meditation, or is there other ways? Because she was wanting to know about a shamanic journey, if that would render the same results or how that would differ.
Once she reaches the space of her heart self,
Mm-hmm.
her higher self, she'll reach the spark, she'll reach the spot, she'll feel it, she'll know it. Once she knows it, she
Mm-hmm.
can do anything that brings her joy.
Mm-hmm.
And this will bring her the same as meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Qigong is very good too.
Mm-hmm.
She'll be able to feel her heart and empty her mind. Any activity that will bring joy.
Just stay in her happy place, basically.
That's right. Keep that vibration high. The happy place, you're right.
Yeah. Would a shamanic journey help, or would it be advisable?
It is a different, it is not, you're not going, it's not the same. It is a different exploration.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exploration of different realms that exist, but there's no realm that will compare to the God spark inside of you that will bring you to your infinite being of all knowledge, all knowing, all wisdom that we all seek. It is not the all knowing, all wisdom. It is a separate realm. And is not the same.
So it's a limited version?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It is more recreational, we would say.
Mm-hmm.
Not as effective.
Mm-hmm.
Even on your journey, when you go to different times, different places,
Mm-hmm.
different realms, you still need to find your God spark there. You still
Mm-hmm.
need to find your infinite source there. So why go through all that when your infinite source is right here?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Jean finds herself rapidly expanding on her awakening path at times, but then other times sort of falling into a lull where nothing seems to be happening much. Is there a way for her to maintain more consistency?
She is human, and her growth, she would not be able to withstand the growth at the rate if it was consistently high, fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
She would, her human would not be able to deal with it in an everyday life situation. She would find difficulty and other obstacles. So we give her doses that she can take baby steps,
Mm-hmm.
baby small doses that she's able to integrate and explore and feel comfortable with and resonate with. And once she is there, then we can give her more.
So it's a matter of the time it takes to integrate the information that comes in, and then when she's ready for more will come?
Yes. That's why it can't be consistent. She said she doesn't know what she's asking for.
It would be overwhelming then.
Yeah.
So that's nice to know. So we integrate. That's probably good information for everybody, because I think a lot of people feel that the ups and downs and the plateaus in growth. So we use those times to integrate what we've been given and begin to resonate with that information before more will come.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the source of divine guidance that empowered her to help Uncle Milton Smith?
It was the assistance of archangels that are overseeing the orchestration of the lifetimes that knew of her capability and was urging her and guiding her. It was from the archangels. Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, all a group of the archangels were assisting and guiding and surrounding her and helping them to orchestrate the processes necessary for the situation. She was assisting them, and yes.
Almost like a little side mission that she... Right? Sometimes we're called in to help where we can help, right?
That's funny. Yes. Yes.
Well, she would like to validate her experiences and the messages and the visitations from her unborn daughter. Can you give her information on that?
To trust your first instinct. You knew when she came to you who she was. And that is who she was, yes. Yes, confirmed.
Very nice. Yeah, we have a problem with doubting things, don't we?
Yes.
When she experienced sleep paralysis, was there an off being in the room, off planet being in the room when it happened, or causing it to happen?
It was no off planet being there. This was her being prepared for the different dimensional beings that were in the home interacting with her. It wasn't the cause, it was herself preparing for the interaction or for the it was her innate being preparing is all.
Okay. She wanted validation about her gift for hearing when someone is lying.
She understands truth. She is very she feels the vibration of truth. So we would say more that she feels the truth, and when she doesn't feel the truth, then it leads her to believe that it's lying, but it's not the lying that she's detecting. It's the truth or the lack of the truth. That is what is truly able to be detected.
Is there a way that she can hone the skill to be better at it?
Trust herself. Live her authentic truth. and she'll resonate in that truth. She'll feel the resonating vibration of that truth in herself. And when she is interacting with others and doesn't feel that resonating feeling, that will be how she'll know.
Okay.
Be as authentic and as truthful and as pure intention and forgiving, and practice her heart skills. Not just practice, but live them, live with them, live by them, by them.
And the more she resonates in her truth, the more she'll be able to detect when there's a lack of truth in what someone's telling her.
Absolutely, yes.
Very good. Was the ghost that she saw by her bed the beginning of her awakening process?
It was not the beginning. It was not a jump start, but like a jump. Before that, she's always been extremely sensitive. She's felt different energies, and didn't realize that she was doing so. She was a crystal child. She was born this way. She was born highly sensitive and knowing, and had to learn to trust as she went throughout her life.
So basically being born would be her first awakening experience then?
Yes.
Is she experiencing off-planet activity while she's sleeping at night that's causing her to wake up in different positions with unexplained bruising on her body?
We don't feel it's time for her to know. We feel that there is a place where she goes, and she is safe. She is loved. And
so nothing to worry about?
No, not anything that she needs to know right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Her husband and her heard an unexplainable sound in the backyard. What was the cause of that sound?
It was the groan from Gaia. Came from the earth.
Was there a message in that for her and her husband? Pay attention to me.
Yes. Yes.
So this goes back to the analogy of the crystals and needing that attention.
Oh, that was beautiful, wasn't it? Yes. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, there's a lot of springs under where she lives, and there's a lot of moving land mass, and it's just a shift that caused the sound.
We wanted to talk about some healing for her. Can you scan her chakras and see if there's any blockages that you can clear up or heal?
Her sacral chakra needs a big dose of get up and go.
Are you able to clear her chakras now?
We can use the falling stars that were coming from the bright light that were falling to come down and address them.
Will that be helpful for her to meditate on that? Or is that something that we can do now?
Yes, we're doing it now.
Good. She's also wanting to know if there's any attachments that are negatively affecting her health that we can clear away.
There's something on her back, on her right side, and it's parasitic. And it's cowardice. It hides and moves. It's pretty slick.
I wonder if we can help this entity back to the light. Help cut any ties or any entanglements. Remove it completely. Is this the cause of her lower back pain?
Yes, it's a major part.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's ask that the archangels come in and help us remove this entity and guide it back to the light. And remove any connections that are no longer serving.
They have, do you know what the front end of a backhoe looks like? One of those big scoopers?
Mm-hmm.
They have a big, giant, light-filled backhoe scooper.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going in and scooping out this entity because it's reluctant coming in there and scooping it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's holding on, but the scoop is pulling it so that it would lose its grip.
Mm-hmm.
And it finally releases its grip. And then the backhoe transmutes it and sends it to the light.
That's very excellent. Is there any other ways this entity was affecting Jean's health?
It is affecting her thoughts, doubting herself, hesitating, procrastinating, causing procrastination instead of her ability to move forward. And that was right behind that sacral chakra as well. So that whole area there needs to be filled with green, healing light from Archangel Raphael.
Let's do that now. Let's fill it in and help it to heal and remove any lasting effects of this entity.
Restoring it to new. Brand new.
Brand new. Fill it with light. Occupy it with love light.
And the green light is going through her entire body, head to toe.
Was there any other reason for her chronic back pain that we can address?
She needs to begin again slowly. Start again with gentle activity until her body builds the strength that she needs.
She's also wanting to know why she's carrying around so much extra weight. Is there a lesson that she's supposed to learn from that? And what she needs to do to get rid of it?
She was using it for protection, to hide her light. She didn't want others to see it. She felt vulnerable. She didn't feel worthy. She felt judged. And all of these feelings caused her to hide. And that was the best way for her to hide. She does not need to hide anymore. She does not need to feel judged.
So this goes back to the first lesson about her being more true and expressing her emotions.
Yes.
It's all connected. What crystals would work best for her overall healing process? Is there any specific crystals she should focus on using?
She already knows that labradorite brings her soothing relief to her stressful daily life. This is very complementary to her energy and brings her energy back in balance and is very helpful. There's a celestialite, a very light pale blue crystal that is very helpful for her to use while meditating. It helps her open her crown chakra and is one of her friends as well. It's one of her friends. It's one of her friends.
She's known for many lifetimes.
Yeah.
Well, she's had issues with maintaining her energy levels, and I think a lot of us have. Is there anything that she can do to help with her energy levels?
Don't give in. Don't give in to the egoic suggestions that are less than, that are your negative self-talk, robs the energy, sucks it right out of you.
So just the removal of this entity should help with her energy levels then too, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Concentrating on keeping her vibration high,
Mm-hmm.
and staying away from negative self-talk
Mm-hmm.
will enable her to maintain her energy level longer. She does need a lot of sleep. She needs a lot of sleep. That is not an energy thing. That is a human body requirement. But while she's not sleeping, her energy should be improved during her waking hours.
So back to staying in her happy place.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. She's wanting to know if she'll be practicing healing services for others in the future.
She's already doing so with her compassion and her friendship and her generosity, her forgiveness. It's all of these attributes are healing for other people. It is her being, it is her energy that is the most healing.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that she can choose to offer.
So people will be sent to her and she'll just know?
She'll teach them what she's learned, and this will help them. She'll teach them and coach them and train them how to find it. This is lovely. There is no other healing necessary. There's no other tricks or modalities or tools, or nothing else is necessary. She could use them as a means to an end, but ultimately it's sharing the knowledge of shining your light and living your heart space and expanding the energy that comes from within, and exchanging with Gaia. All of these things people will need to learn from her.
Very nice. She was wanting to know if there's any traumas from past lives that are still impacting her in this lifetime.
Yes, and she is healing them. She is processing heartache and trauma and loss that she may not have experienced in this lifetime yet, but she is processing this from previous lifetimes. So she carries those energies, those memories with her. She is able to process and move through them in this lifetime. Reminders and incidents and happenings in this lifetime will bring up the feeling of a memory from a past life that she will need to learn to move through. She has the tools in this lifetime to process them. That was similar to the woman with her hands, with her head in her hands. This is what she'll need to do, that she's able to do, that she's strong enough to do, to transmute, go into the feeling, go into the emotion, express it fully, come out on the other side and gain the wisdom. This will heal the traumas of the past. There's nothing that is extraordinarily unusual that is looming over her at this time. It's a natural process.
So there's nothing more she needs to know about it. It's all sort of working itself out as she goes along?
It will be, yes.
Well, who are the angels watching over her husband, Frank?
I see Peter. I see a doctor. He has Christed energy around him. and within him.
So he's on his path being cared for at this time?
Yes, while it may be different, it is his own, and it is where he needs to be. He is safe. He is looked over, watched over. He is being taken care of by the angels. For sure. They're watching over him.
Can you give him clarification on the dream he had about levitating in a blue grid? What was that all about?
That was a DNA upgrade to help him adjust to the frequencies and the density that we'll be moving into. So he's moving along, even if his consciousness is not aware of the level of awakening, his unconsciousness is doing so, is preparing him.
Right.
That's really good to hear. That's really good news.
Is he part of Jean's soul family?
Yes, they have been in love for many lifetimes. They've shared great love before. He doesn't come from the same origin as her, but that is what attracts her to him. Attracts him to her. She's different, and he's different. They're not from the same origin. However, the attraction and the love and the chemistry still works. So no, not the same entire soul family, but it is meant to be, and it is perpetual.
So they've been together for many lives, many lifetimes.
Yes. That's interesting. He's not the same.
Yeah. What about Jean's sister, Darlene? She has an angelic connection and encounters of her own. Is she awake and ascending too?
She has one eye that is opened. So what that looks to be, she has indigenous paint on her face. And she has like a black stripe that goes down her nose. And the black stripe comes out to a Y on either side of her mouth. And I can see her eye. One eye is open. She has ancient energy and has a knowing. And she was like a seer in the ancient times. And she can see, she can sense, she knows. And this is what is reminding her and giving her these experiences in this lifetime. And she is not trusting the awakening process at this time. She is not engaging. She is only she is very satisfied and very agreeable to the situation that she sees and hears and knows. Is very satisfying for her, and she does not have any yearning or any questions to pursue the path of awakening at this time.
Well, what's Jean's purpose for being with her in this lifetime?
They share the seeing, the knowing.
And have they shared past lives together as well?
They have.
What were their relationships in the past lives?
I believe they were spouse. They were each other's spouse in the ancient or indigenous, is what I want to say, a very tribal community, and we may have been a spouse, we may have been married at one time. It sounds unusual, but it's the closeness and the understanding.
Right.
We may have also been siblings at another time where we had the same gifts, and we're repeating that energy here. just coexisting and sharing. There's not any more reason than that, just to go through it together.
What about Jean and her mom? Sometimes when they're talking on the phone, they can hear a man's voice come through. What's that voice about?
The first thing that came was that it was loved ones that have passed and who are watching over both of them, who want to make themselves known, just to let them know that they're being.
So there's not a specific message, just, hey, I'm still around?
They are very happy about the relationship and the respect and the special connection that they have together. What they have together is high vibration, and when they get together, both of their vibrations rise, and it enables loved ones to come in, and they don't even know it.
Very nice. It's nice. So it's like their vibration opens almost the doorway or a thinning of the veil to where they can come through. Were they getting freaked out by it a little bit?
They were.
How much fear slows us down, right?
It is. It's funny. Oh, yeah. That's funny.
So just appreciate it for happening.
They don't even know it. Yeah. With both of them.
So it's a good thing.
It is. It is.
Very good.
It is. They were doing it. It's because of the love that they have for each other, and they resonate so high when they're together, and their energies are together. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Is there anyone else in Jean's life that's also receiving angelic guidance that could use her help with accepting it?
There is one person that comes to mind that is my cousin, who is my uncle's daughter. She is in great need of help, and that's why Jean is helping. However she needs. Her angels are kind of not screaming at her, but really, really like jumping up and down and saying, "Why can't you hear me? Why can't you hear me? I'm right here," you know.
Yeah.
There's some sort of a block that maybe just I could maybe help unlock, not in a inconspicuous way, in a just by interacting or sharing time together, by my energy being with her and with my intention of helping the blocks that she has to open up. It could help her listen to the guidance that she's getting, that she's refusing to listen to because of her stubbornness. Yeah, inconspicuous is important, not deliberate, not sneaky, but not forthright.
So she's just doubting, her cousin's doubting the information she's getting? Does she just think it's her own thoughts, or how can she best help her?
Her guidance is there, guiding her. She is not aware of the guidance, is not listening to the guidance, needs to have an opening so that she can sense and listen to the guidance. She needs help with that.
Okay. Jean she's very fortunate to work for this amazing man. She's wanting to know if he's part of her soul group, or have they shared a past life together?
There's definitely a familiar. They were siblings, or shared a family. They were in a family together before, and were very close in their family, and had a trust that was unbroken, and it allows them to carry that trust, engage in the trust in this lifetime easily. And it's very comforting. They don't have to worry about what each other might do or might say. There's a trust that is very, very deep and very, very long. And that trust comes from different lifetimes that they are relying on today.
Very nice. That's some trust you can trust in, I guess, huh? Carrying over from other lives.
That's some big trust.
Yeah. That's good. That's a blessing, really, you know. So Jean's wanting to know about her galactic origins or the race she's most connected with, and how that affects her in this lifetime.
Well, I think we know that Syrian and Lyran, and I don't recall with the blue skinned. I'm seeing blue skin, but they could
Vega,
be.
maybe?
Yeah, actually I was thinking Venus, but it didn't sound right. So maybe it's Vega. The V is what. Yeah. I don't even know what that is, but that sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, are they blue beings?
Yeah, that's where I'm from.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know that. Yeah. That sounds right. And, you know, these would be the most prominent and the most engaging in this lifetime, even though there's many other aspects in many other races. These would be the most prominent.
Let's see. She's wanting to know if deceased ancestors could be helpful as guides during her healing process.
They do have her best interest at heart. They do see her as her divine self. However, they may not have all the resources that she needs to rely on 100%. However, they are looking after her and are in the best interest and in total love and light around her and over her and with her, guiding her. They're not the end-all be-all, but they are benevolent and beneficial for her.
Is there any specific group or guides she should call on when she needs help?
For right now, we would like for Jean to concentrate on her higher self connection, developing a relationship there. Her angels are always around her. There is a guide that is off in the distance, that is there when she crosses over, but she does not, as long as she connects with her higher self, then that guide is connecting with her higher self. There's a step between her and her guide, herself and her guide, and her guide is assisting her to connect with her higher self, but he or they or it is standing off once removed to help her to learn to rely on herself. And that's why they say connect to your higher self, so you can rely on yourself, so that we can be one or infinite being continuously. We can embody the infinite being that we are. This is the intention of standing back.
So it's having the intention to trust that your higher self will guide you. Is there anything else that we need to do, or that Jean needs to do to have a better connection and to have better discernment?
Trust, practice, believe, live, shine your light. These things will assist her. These things are her guide. These attributes, heart, space, feeling, energies are her guides. These are what are guiding her. There is no person or entity for her to look outside of to guide her. Everything she has is within her. These are the guides she needs to look to for her guidance and for her growth.
So back to the heart virtues we spoke of earlier of compassion and love and understanding and all of these operating from there.
Shining the light, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
trusting in it, yeah.
That's good stuff. Okay, so who is it that keeps pulling her hair? What's the sensation she has, and what's that all about?
It's just one of her playful, angelic kind of fairy, interdimensional type of little energies that are around her.
Mm-hmm.
Just loving on her.
Just letting her know, hey, I'm here. You're not alone.
Yeah, they're kind of like, not pixies, not fairies, but sort of like little light bursts that are around her, sparkling, and they like to let her know that they're there that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute.
So take it as a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything else that can help Jean on her journey today that she should know about?
There is a lifetime that is showing up right now that is a man in a helmet, and the helmet has like a faux mohawk. The helmet has like that, and the helmet comes down in front of the nose, and it is a male, and it is a lifetime that Jean has explored previously, and it is a sign of strength. And when there was a message that this lifetime that Jean lived, they said, what would be the message you would give to Jean now? And he said, be strong. And he's just coming back to say it one more time. Be strong.
Be strong.
Yeah. He's really, really like very muscular, very fit, very handsome, very tall. And it's like an embodiment of strength and because I have body challenges, and he's letting me know I have the capability of being, my body was once, big and strong and very vital, and I can do it again. That's nice.
Yeah, well, let's pull in that energy of this ancient warrior lifetime and the strength and courage of this lifetime and bring it into this lifetime, this current lifetime, and strengthen that connection so that you can tap into that strength and courage when you need it.
It is an aspect of me that I am able to integrate with in this lifetime to assist me on in this journey of this lifetime. Thank you.
That's excellent. Is there any other healing that Jean needs while we're here? Either with her spirit or physical or even relationships in her life?
She is flying so high right now. There is nothing that is coming to mind. It is all sunshine and lollipops. It is really, her energy is really high right now. Her vibration is really high. Yeah, so we're good. We're good for today.
Awesome. We ask that she can maintain that high vibe and carry it over into her daily life and resonate in that when she needs it all the time. Stay in her happy place. It's beautiful. Awesome. So we're going to bring your light body back to your physical body now.
You are joining
Just
the
bring
online
all
studio.
your energy back to your
You are
physical
unmuted
form.
and can speak with the host.
Whoops. Okay. I didn't mean to. I was opening up the phone line so I can get Jean in here. So what did you guys think of that? That was pretty. I know Megan would dig it because she's all into crystals. I know a lot of you guys are into crystals. I have them. I'm just a noob at it, so I don't really know what's going on with that. But let's see. Hopefully we can get Jean in here to discuss her session, what it was like. I want to, while we wait for Jean to see if she can get on here, I do want to remind you guys you can contact me through the website, uotf.net. The link is in the description box below. You can click that. If you're wanting a session, you can contact me through the website or directly at my email address, shanecrob@gmail.com, which is also in the description box. And if you would like to take the course and learn how to do BQH and be a BQHer, as Sherry says, then follow the link below and save yourself a little bit of money. It's already really reasonable, but an extra 10% isn't too bad. Let me see here. Okay, I'm going to email her. Let me put some wingmakers on
What do?
till I can get a hold of her. Awesome. So yeah, you didn't have as much time as the actual first recording was 2 hours long, so I was able to shave off like 30 minutes. So. But welcome to the program. How are you doing, Jean? Thank you so much for sharing that information. I know a lot of people were enjoying it.
Yes, thank you very much, Shane. It was an amazing experience. And hi, everybody in the chat. You guys are commenting so kindly. I really appreciate your kindness.
So what have you gotten from? Let's see, that was last week. So do you get anything? Because some people get things like over the next week or two, they'll get more confirmations and things. Has anything happened since the session for you?
Yes, I did send you a picture of the Anubis with the staff and the head of the Anubis at the top of the staff that I went into the crystal blue eye at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. I found him on the internet, so I sent it to you. I don't know, maybe you could show it at another time, but I thought that was very interesting. I wanted to see if that was actually real. And, the cat that helped me to do my meditation, and the cat was like, had a little attitude, and he was saying, you would never find this if I wasn't here to help you. Like rolling his eyes. And I believe that was a Lyran energy. And because I'm just from the past, for me, for things to show up for me, they're kind of distorted or in a symbolic way rather than, straightforward Lyran being,
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the cat, I want to say that the cat beings they're from Lyra, right? So I think Lyra comes from, a lot of the Lyrans come from Vega, which came up in the session as well with the blue people.
Oh, they do? Is it all in that same star system? Wow.
You know who I need? I need Debbie Solaris to help me out here because I don't know. She seems to, if she doesn't know something, she can just tap into the Akashic records. But yeah, I want to say that from Vega it went to Lyra and something else. I can't remember what the other one is. But So Vega was
Wow.
one of the earlier places or something that people are from. So a
Yeah.
lot of people from Vega have still spent a lot of time on other systems, like, you know, I think I spent time in Orion and Sirius and the Pleiades and of course here on Earth in the early days, Lemuria and Egypt. That came up a lot. You saw that Megan getting excited about all the
Yeah.
synchronicities. We just had a session, Sherry and I, where it came up that the people in our little group here have all had a past in Egypt together. And I was like, wow, really? That's so
Wow.
crazy. So we're going to see some major activations for those who make it out to ECETI. And I really believe everybody that's got that connection that really need to be there will be there. And the other people, I think, will just be there through us, you know, as like a
Yes.
proxy. So I don't
Yes.
feel like anybody's really being left out. We're sort of bringing the energy and spreading it back to the group. So everybody across the world, around the world, and just if you just couldn't afford to go or for whatever reason couldn't get off work, not to fear, we are all one, and we will definitely pull that energy together for you as well.
Absolutely. We all resonate on a very similar vibration. And
Hmm.
whatever you guys experience and go through, we can also experience and get a sense of, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Well,
was.
I just,
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I was just
I
gonna.
just had,
Sorry, there's a delay. There's a horrible delay on here. That's why I
go
like
ahead.
Hangouts better. I was just going to ask what else has come up since the session. You talked about the cat. I didn't know if anything else, if you had anything to build off of.
Yeah. It was interesting to me when you guys did not hear all the pauses, but I was very surprised at all the pauses. I didn't realize there was that much time that was going by in the pauses. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
wait, what am I saying? And when I was listening back to it myself, I was surprised. And the other thing I was surprised at was that I felt as though I was um, with my speaking from my higher self or speaking from a higher aspect of myself, if
Hmm.
it wasn't the higher self or the oversoul of some sorts. However, I was able to comment, and it was my ego that was commenting and giggling sometimes. And I don't know if you heard when they said a doctor was watching over my husband, and I went, that
Right.
was me.
Right.
and then, and then when they were saying that my mom and I we get along so well, and when we're talking, we have we raise our vibrations together, like we just kind of hit off of each other, and our vibrations go up, and that's
Hmm.
when these other entities can pop in. And
Hmm.
we were doing it the whole time, and we were thinking it was something else doing it, but
Right.
it was us, and I just found that funny because we
That's
were like
hilarious.
freaked out by it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Man, so many things, whether it's going out of body for your first time or having some kind of strange paranormal experience. Fear stops us so much because it like freaks us out. We've never seen anything like that before. And then we usually,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when you don't fear it, you open it up to get more contact or more experiences that way. But a lot of times we get scared off, I think.
Yeah, yeah. The images that I was getting were very symbolic, and I felt as though there was a filter of protection there, so that I wouldn't be, impacted so deeply for
Hmm.
different things that I was seeing.
Hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, but I just thought I was amazed. How did you know to ask me where I lived and if I had anything in my room, in my bed down there under the sea? I'm like, that's like the whole thing. How did you know to do that? It was
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, I don't know. I just get in a meditative state with you, and I don't know. Let the questions pop into my head. That's why I listen back and I'm like, wow, I never would have went there if it was just me wondering because I'll usually be listening back, and because I won't be in the meditative state, and I won't remember exactly how it went. So when I'm listening back, I'm like, oh, wow, that was a cool direction to go, and I'm glad you chimed in as well and said, hey, I'm done looking at Atlantis. I'm ready to get out of here. I got my little glimpse of it, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably something I may want to revisit in the future, but it wasn't maybe relevant at this time.
Hmm.
And so I just turned around and dove right back into the water.
Yeah.
But just something to show me that I was there. It's very, very interesting.
Something interesting
It was
that always comes up for me with Atlantis is I see it in the daytime with a space-looking sky, and I don't know where that came from. If I saw a video at some point, or what, or if it's just I'm remembering a thread. But when you saw Atlantis, did it have a blue sky, or was it a black sky, or do you remember?
Well, I think that what I was seeing were like purples and blues and
Hmm.
mauve and pink, kind of
Hmm.
like the buildings reflecting off of each other, sort of like a shimmery rainbow, maybe a cloudy kind of a shimmer rainbow. But again, I felt as though I had rose-colored glasses on throughout the entire thing because everything just looked so, you know, sparkly and glittery and, you know,
That's awesome.
I know. I know. I was glad, but but yeah, I didn't see it with a darker sky, but it was more of like a pink candy cane or not candy cane, cotton candy kind of
Hmm.
sky maybe.
Yeah.
All different pastels. I don't
Now,
know.
have you always had have you always had an attraction to crystals throughout your life?
I would say, yeah. I mean, I've been working with crystals for about 10, maybe 12 years.
Hmm.
But before that, maybe a little bit before that. But yeah, I'm very, very. I use them a lot for my own medicine, and I wear them depending on the type of day I feel as though I'm going to be having.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they really work for me because my energy is so sensitive, and I can pick up on the resonance of the stone. So if I
Hmm.
have a really busy day, I know I have a lot of paperwork to do or a lot of reading to do. I
Hmm.
bring my orange calcite bracelet and necklace to help me focus and keep the distraction down, and I can really get through a lot of tedious work at work
Hmm.
with those things on. But I feel exhausted at the end of the day, so I have to take them off because I'm still at that higher vibration. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's interesting that I can tell the difference. Yeah.
Well, since the session, have you noticed anything with your health? I know they did some work on you. What's been your experience like since then?
Hmm.
You're still dealing with
I
the
think
same back pain and.
it's definitely improved. However, I just had my knee surgery on Wednesday. Today's Friday, so it's been
Oh.
like 48 hours.
Oh.
So there's been a little bit of a distraction there. I had my meniscus trimmed. That's why I couldn't go to ECETI.
Mm.
And yeah, uh, and so there's been a little bit of a distraction in between there for me to really resonate. But I definitely had a brighter outlook, just a happier feeling inside, sort of like a bubbliness inside, a giddiness, um, a confidence in my voice.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was interesting. Somebody at work, he he likes to ask me type of philosophical questions and bounce things off of me. And he was asking me about the oppression for women, and that there's really not a lot you can do, and that the government wants to govern whether or not a woman keeps her or gets rid of her baby. And he was going into that kind of a thing. And all of a sudden, these words start flying out of my mouth that I never even heard before. I don't know where they came from. And I was telling him, it was almost like a channeling. I was telling him that the masculine is not aware that when they suppress the feminine energy, they are draining themselves of the feminine energy. By them thinking it's outside of them and suppressing the woman, they are depleting that from themselves, so that all they are left with is a barbarian type of fighting, type of war energy. And they don't have the compassion, the kindness, or the forgiveness that all men and women both have, that we all have feminine and masculine energy. And by them suppressing the feminine, they were depleting themselves, and they don't even know it. So this is why we need to help the feminine energy rise for all of us, so that we can build the gender gap and to be complementary rather than in competition of. And I was like, where the heck did that come from? I never even heard that before.
Yeah, that's awesome, though. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like reversing the process of what you're saying. And it's like, if we can raise the whole vibration of the planet and really invite in the divine feminine, then it would work the other way around. And all these people who have like sort of hardened their hearts to the divine feminine might soften up a little bit. So I can see it working both ways. So it's almost, it seems like a good thing when I think about it like that.
Yeah. It was amazing. And sometimes, if you're in the right frame of mind and you're, discussing things and you're having, philosophical opinions back and forth. But that was really, really a surprise that I said that, and it was after we had our session. So I thought, I wonder if I'm still connected. This is not something I would normally come up with,
Oh, yeah, and
it really made
it
a
totally
lot of
feels
sense.
like that, too, doesn't it? It feels like you're more connected afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I do need to practice and connect with my higher self. That guide that was standing off into the distance. I've seen him once before, and he's very, they don't speak. He just had his hands folded in front of him, and he was like nodding at me and saying, "You take care of that first before you come and see me." like you got to do your work, girl. You can't just come and see me. You got to do your work and get to yourself and embody your, true essence first.
Yeah.
It was amazing. There was so much more that I saw in my head and understood in my head that was not coming out of my mouth. I don't think I could say everything,
Yeah, and I could tell, when you were looking at the crystals and stuff, and I was like, man, I wish we could somehow get footage of what she's saying. That'd be so awesome.
Oh, they were fun. They were so fun. And it was like a step-by-step discovery. I thought, oh, aren't these pretty? Oh, I really like them. Oh, I feel energy from them. And then I realized that they needed me. They needed to help me. They can't just sit there and sparkle on their own. They needed to help me. And I needed to give them my energy to help them. And it's if neither one engages, then neither one will ever survive. We need to engage. It was just so beautiful. And then it transpired into Gaia as well, the same type of feeling.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say, because I think a lot of light workers feel like, I'm not from here, and they don't show the earth enough love. They don't make this their home. And it's like, hey, we were born here this time around. Let's make it our home. Let's love our planet and help. It's a conscious being, like we saw in your session. It's like a gigantic crystal, right? I mean, think of the water.
Yeah.
The water itself alone, I mean, it's 2/3 water, and water we know holds memory and energy. So, we got to assume that if we do, and we're 2/3 water, and the earth is 2/3 water, then our intentions and our energy and that positive vibe is really affecting not only the people, but the actual planet. But if we're like, I hate this place, I want to get out of here, then we're actually, it's like, the whole rice experiment, when you like go and you say, I love you to the one, I hate you to the other one. That's sort of what we're doing to the earth, for a lot of us that feel like we're not from here and we just want to get out of here. This isn't our home. And it's like we're sending hate to the earth, instead of just loving it.
Right.
So that was the biggest thing to take away that I thought from that would probably apply to most people,
Right. Yeah, and the way that we were disconnected by getting into our cars and going into our houses and having that layer of concrete or, you know, something in between us and the earth and disconnecting from it instead of living on the earth and, you know, giving thanks to the earth and you know, those indigenous tribes really knew what they were doing. They understood that, you know, that they were working together as one. And, you know, with our technology in the last, I don't know, 2,000 years, I don't know. But, you know, it really has taken us away from Gaia herself. Yeah. Yeah. And then the industry and, yeah. But,
I thought what was cool about your session that it's amazing to hear the joy come through. I mean, it's really overwhelming joy. and I got to hear a clip of Michelle. She just had a session with Travis, and you thought you were laughing a lot. She like laughed hysterically for like, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 minutes and couldn't stop. And, you know, and it was contagious for Travis. They were both just laughing. And so, yeah, it's like you can really feel that joy coming through, you know.
Yeah. The giggles were really easy because of how much joy and how much joy I was feeling, and you know, my high vibration, and then, you know, you just can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
It was similar. I did listen to you and Michelle, and she was also saying something that it was a little bit cartoon-like, and I felt that was similar when I was saying like My Little Pony kind of images coming around with my angels. You know, it's interesting, but I understand it's symbolic. I understand that I'm not prepared or, you know, advanced enough to actually see the authentic images, perhaps. I don't know, but I
like how
enjoyed
they
it.
do
I
that.
enjoyed it just as much.
Yeah, somebody
Pardon?
was saying that. I like how they do the symbols and everything. Somebody was actually, because I said that not many people have past lives that I do their session or whatever, and most of the time it just seems like it's symbolic stuff or meeting with someone and having a conversation or something along those lines. But I don't do a lot of, you know, and it's not really up to me. It's just that's just not what comes up a lot. A lot of it is symbolic stuff, like, you know, April's was highly symbolic with a lot of really cool imagery in it. Yours was too. It was really playful and joyful and magical. I mean, this whole magical theme that kept coming up for you with the fairies and the, you know, the rainbows and unicorns and just that whole world that we live in. You know what I mean? As people that like that stuff, you know.
Yeah, but it had the fundamental messages that came through loud and clear, you know.
Yeah,
To
fundamental. I like that.
be in your heart, be in your heart space and have compassion, have kindness, show kindness, and give forgiveness and, you know, and love, and open up that heart space. And the way that it was pouring out of, like, almost not like a volcano, really forceful. It was just kind of like running water, like, you know how you have like a water feature in a backyard and it bubbles up and it runs down over the water feature. That's sort of how like all the light was coming out. It was just coming out, bubbling, bubbling. And it was an infinite source. Like, you never, ever have to turn it off. You just continuously shine your heart space, and all the time. It's, you know, never turn it off. It's that was an amazing image as well.
Being led by the heart.
Yeah, and to trust my heart when I'm meditating, because I'm like clearing. Okay, that's a thought. Let it go. Okay, that's a thought. Let it go. I'm like, wait a minute, was that a message? But now I know if it comes in my head, let it go. I just have to listen to my heart. I thought that was priceless. That really, really was priceless, because I never knew, you know.
Yeah.
And it just really resonated with me.
That's amazing how something can be right in front of you like that, and we're just blind to it sometimes until you see it, and you're like, oh, it's been here all along, you know.
Yeah. No, it's definitely magical, and I think what had happened. I don't know if I told you or somebody else, but since the session you and I had, I went to the beach with my sisters, And after, we're just hanging out and, I was lightly discussing things, not really anything too heavy. And there was a full moon over the ocean that night. It was really beautiful. And my little sister said she felt like the moon was talking to her and calling to her. And I said, she probably is. So then we had a nice time. We all said goodbye. We went back to work. And then, like a couple days after getting back from the beach, my sister called me. She said, I keep seeing 111 all the time. She said, I called and it was 111. She goes, I opened the safe to get the deed out of the shore house that they were selling one and buying another. And she said there was $111 in the safe for no reason. She said, I have no idea. She said all of the, not even just seeing 111, but everything was coming up to 111. And she was freaking out. She goes, what does this mean? I'm like, oh, maybe she was activated.
That would be amazing.
Yes.
She's definitely seeing the synchronicities. You're seeing this, and a lot of people are reporting it now. Somebody was telling me that even the kids are taking pictures or something with something synchronistic. I'll have to double check on that. Somebody was just telling me about, it's sort of going around the younger group about synchronicities, 11/11 and all of that coming up. So that's interesting.
Yeah, this is another wave of awakening coming in with this between these two eclipses, I believe, is what they're suggesting. That's when the next wave was coming on. So I think.
Are you talking about the two big solar eclipses, or the closer together ones we just had, or what?
The closer together ones we just had.
Okay,
yeah,
the lunar.
There was. Oops. Yeah. Well, I think one was solar and one was lunar. No. Or were they both?
Yeah. No, one was solar and one was lunar. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the planets lined up in retrograde and stuff. So all of that stuff. This is what's enabling the new generation or a new wave to come through for awakening. People to be awakened. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so glad that I'm where I am now, just to be able to help somebody that has questions or needs or guidance and stuff.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be alive. It really is.
It really is. Yeah, but I can't thank you enough, Shane. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. Every time I listen to it, I hear something else.
Yeah.
But
I'll send you this new recording too, because now you can get through it a little bit quicker. And I turned up the lower volume spots, and I don't know I guess you noticed all of that, right? If you listened to it.
Yeah. No, that would be great. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
But and thank you everybody in the chat if you gave me some suggestions or gave me your perspective as we were going through, because sometimes it may not be apparent to me that what that cat was actually doing or saying, and somebody may pick up on it, and have a insight about it. So
I thought that was interesting about it resting on your chest like that and purring, because I've had cats do that before, and I heard somebody, of course there's always the fear explanation for it, and somebody said, no, they're trying to steal your breath. I'm like, what are you talking about? So I don't know. I don't, there's always got to be a scary alternative to what's really happening.
Yeah. He was bringing me to a different dimension with the purring. It's the resonating to a different dimension.
That's really cool.
That's what, enabled me to get into that meditation and then got me to the next place. Yeah.
That's something that comes up a lot in sessions is people, while they're under hypnosis, then they'll go into a meditative state within the session, like we did with your crystals, or other people have done it with, ascended masters and things like that. And I think that's so cool. It's like, because it's like they're in a dream within a dream, if this reality is indeed like a dream, a consciousness dream or whatever. And then they're going again. So it reminds me of that movie Inception, like 3 layers deep. It's just pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's just maybe another way just to get a little bit deeper into the state, that's necessary for the next thing that's coming up. They know what they're doing, the guides,
Yeah.
But,
were you amazed at how it seems like the guides, like there's this whole upper realm that's sort of setting up your journey for you, and we're just kind of getting out of the way and enjoying the show? I don't know if you felt that way about it.
Well, it was very, it was very automatic, the words that were coming out of my mouth. Sometimes I was searching for a word, and sometimes it was me that was coming through with some comments, which I was surprised that I could come through with some comments. You know, like, but I was still in that state.
Yeah.
So,
it's different for
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
Like, I was hyper alert during my whole session. It was like I knew everything going on around me, around the other person, and I was just, I don't know, it just seemed like I was more alert and more here than I am just in regular waking time. So I think it just depends on the person and how. I know I've done a few different sessions for Sherry, and hers is, every session's different. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the same person or not. There's some that she didn't remember any of it, and some that she just remembered parts, and then other people, I think April only remembered parts. And so when they're like that, they don't comment, because it's like, you know, but you were pretty there, so you were able to like observe and then comment on things and have those realizations as you're hearing it, you know, because like the doctor one that you mentioned, there were some other ones that you mentioned that were sort of like an aha moment in the middle of the session that you got to enjoy it like in real time, you know.
Right. You said I was on another mission or something, and I just found that so hysterical. I couldn't stop laughing. You're saying it's a side mission.
Right, a side mission. Yeah, because it sounded like you got your own mission, but then they called you in to do this thing with your uncle or whatever it was, whoever it was.
So
just.
That's so funny though, and it's So and I was, you know, I felt aware, you know, obviously awake and aware. Yet words were coming through that I didn't feel like they were being processed through my brain or through my mind. They were just coming out, you know. It's very different. But I would like to, you know, maybe sometime down the future in a couple of months, go back and explore the Atlantis man with the dripping beard, and maybe if I practice a lot of my meditation, we'll be able to connect with that guide who is standing off and insisting that I connect with my higher self before we engage with him, you know. I think that would be interesting to get into like those things, and now that we have like a layout. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you said if you do it twice, it's never the same, but who knows? I don't know.
Well, it's just each journey is unique. Let me put it that way. It's not like it would be a letdown or anything. It would just be a whole completely different, cool session, actually. You know, because really, if you can get out of the way, which you had no problem doing, sort of just saying what you see and saying what was coming to you, and that's really the struggle, is getting out of the way and allowing that to come through. And you know, I think fear stops us, but you handle it perfectly.
I think in the beginning I was stumbling over like the names of the planets and stuff, and I said Sirius comes to mind, and I didn't want to say if it was a planet because I don't know if it's a planet. Is it a planet or is it a star? I mean, so
right,
you know,
it's actually a star system.
My analytical ego mind was jumping in there, but I was just trying to let it go, you know.
Yeah. The other thing that Atsuko did, because she would get really good visions, but then when she tried to translate it into English, it would sort of pull her out of it because it was just too much left brain. But she went back to some of the places that she had come up in her session and meditated on them later and got more information from it. So that's something to consider if you want to, you know, kind of pep yourself up a little bit. Go visit your crystal friends in a meditation, or if you want to go to Atlantis and see if you can explore there in your meditation time. Now that you've been there, you know that frequency of that place, and you can return to it, you know.
Wow. That's very interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to do that. Huh.
Really cool.
Interesting. Very cool. Very cool, Shane. I really appreciate everything that you do for us, and it was quite an experience. We'll definitely do it again in the future.
Awesome. It sucks you can't come out to, how long until your knee heals up?
I don't know. You know, it's probably a couple of months worth of physical therapy and stuff. I just know that, you know, I wouldn't want to
be on uneven ground, and
No, yeah. I need this thing to heal very well before I start, you know, taking treks on it. But
Well, we'll have another one.
So, yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good. It sounds great. But I am really thrilled, and thank you for having me on tonight. Do you have any other callers?
No, well, I want to thank you so much for sharing the session, and I will probably just keep this as your video rather than
Aw,
taking callers.
I see. How sweet. It was very nice of you, very kind.
Oh, no
But
problem.
yeah,
But yeah, we'll revisit it
yeah,
again in the future when you're ready, and it's good to see that, things are getting turned on and activated. It's like that for everybody, but it seems like when you can incorporate a tool like this, it just seems to amp things up. And it's not just BQH. It's like, the biofilt tuning things that people are doing. It's like so many different tools that are coming about now that are helping further people along. And I think BQH and QHHT are both great tools in this time.
absolutely. It's really amazing. It really is.
Awesome.
It is. But
All right.
all
Well, I
right.
appreciate you, Gene. Thank you so much for all you do.
You're welcome, Shane. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Lots of love to you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So, yeah, if you guys don't remember, we had Gene on, Sherry and I had Gene on Paranormal Frequencies. Gosh, when was it? It was a couple months ago, wasn't it, Sherry? I'm trying to remember. It was closer to one of our first shows, I think. But you guys can check that out. We just actually showed her orb video not too long ago. So awesome with the blue orb. The beginning of one of the Paranormal Frequencies. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this up on this one. I've actually got to pick my wife up from work tonight. It's a little bit different than usual. So I'm going to leave this with just as Gene's video. And you guys are welcome to stick around, of course. And lots of love and light. We'll be back tomorrow, Eileen and I, for the Power of 8 at 8. I love you guys. Have a good one. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.